My name is Melody Woodward, and I have lived in Houston my whole life.
My name is Bob Woodward. For all intents and purposes, I've lived in Houston my whole life. We've been here for 7 years at this house. I always feel like Houston is one of the places where Southern hospitality is still alive and well, where people still hold doors for other people, whether their arms are full or not. And people say please and thank you and yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. It's a great place to live.
Hurricane Harvey was very unexpected. We actually were out of town when we started hearing that it was possible that it was going to hit Houston really hard. We were in Pennsylvania burying Bob's mother, and it was a rough year because of her illness. We actually were on our way back the Sunday after Harvey hit, and our friends convinced us to not come to Houston because we would get stuck on the road. There was no way we could get to our house, and so I called my cousins, and it was only about an extra 2 hours to get up to Arkansas, and that's where we stayed for a week because we couldn't get in. The waters were just too high.
I was having a cup of coffee and I get a cold call from my brother, and he says, so they're opening the floodgates on Addicks and Barker Reservoir to let the water flow into Buffalo Bayou to keep the levees from failing. Your house is on the list of places that will flood. We're going to go over there and salvage what we can, get the dogs, and get anything that you can't replace out of the house. Hit me back with a list. You got 1 hour. And it was, how do you put down in writing everything that you can't afford to lose inside of an hour when you're not standing in the place where your memories are? And it was wild when the water finally receded and we were actually able to drive up to the house. There were actually dead fish in the middle of the road that had gotten stranded. It was really hard to walk into the house and see that the laminate floors had all buckled. I mean, it was like a fun house in here. The house was just a mess, and silt all over everything, and I wasn't sure what we were going to do. Right? We'd never been faced with anything like this. 10 years of being together, and all those memories that we had, and building a life together here for each other, is to have that taken away so swiftly after suffering such a terrible loss was it was devastating. There's no other word for it. It was devastating.
We had a group come and pack our whole house. Second day, there were 30 people here. Most of them were youth from our church, and a lot were from Bob's office, and they gutted our house in a whole day, and it was amazing because it was taking people 4 days to gut their house. And after that, we got a mitigation specialist to look at our house, and he says, you need to let your house dry for 5 weeks in order to be absolutely sure that the mold is gone. And we did spray everything, all the studs, but it was like, okay, well, that gives us 5 weeks to plan our next move. We applied for FEMA because we do not have insurance, and we did get some relief from them, but all of the contractors are completely booked. We didn't know where to go from there. And then my dad called me, and he said, so there's a group that wants to come down and help put drywall up. And I was like, what do you mean a group? Honestly, I was like, where are they from? What is this? And he said, yeah, somebody contacted Tallowood. And I asked, is it a sister church? Have you done missions with them before? And he said, no, they just want to help. And I was like, put my name in the ring for that, because we need help. And it was a complete blessing to hear that people would come from so far away to help. Now I'm choked up. It was really neat to see the demographics of the group. I didn't know the ages of people who would be here, and so to have such a range of of skill set as well as ages. It was awesome to see that, and the fact that y'all just wanted to give up your time.
Everybody came in and assessed the supplies that we had. We did a walkthrough, and then it was all right. Let's get on it, and we've been working almost nonstop ever since.
First day y'all were here and I walked in the house, you had almost all the drywall hung, and I almost started crying right then. Because it's just being out of the house for 2 months, not having walls,
not really having a place to call our own. It was a home before it was flooded, and it's still a home. It's just now we can actually envision living here again. Mm-hmm. It's just such a blessing that y'all were able to come down and help us out. I mean, it's just, I lack the vocabulary to express how grateful I am, and it's incredible.